Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video we're just going to go through the story. This is Abyss level difficulty for the new season. So if we go into the seasonal tab and we click on Tome of Itheron, as you can see we now have up to 115, so we'll clear this set of missions, just see how difficult it is, and then we can take it from there. So at the moment I previously was using that setup, but what I want to do is jump in and we will go ahead and try these new units out. Now I've been doing some testing with Wukong and with Lee. Mulan, just straight up absolute fantastic unit. Really love Mulan. She is such a DPS support, not only for Mr. Fires but also for other teams as well. Really powerful unit. Where are we up to? Let's go ahead and pop you in, and then we'll pop the chest in as well, just because it's a new artifact and we want to see how it functions. But yeah, so with regards to Lee, I think you need him at a minimum of 8 stars. And the reason for this is because of the Monarch synergy. Now, I've found that what the purpose of this unit, this Lee unit here, is to get hit, and it can be very troublesome, specifically when he's not got a very high attack, he's not got a very high defense, and he only buffs his defense with his exclusive runes. Now the exclusive runes are going to be really important for him, especially the red or partial red exclusive runes for him. Really impactful, because it's going to boost his not only his defense if you have partial red, but it will also boost his HP if you have full red exclusive runes for him. And it's, he is very powerful, and he's a very good fit in the Glorians team, because you can pair him with Lily and Leah, and you can also pair him with Talinas as well. As you can see, I've only got him at 2 stars at the moment, but it is what it is. We will eventually get him up to the 3 stars and potentially even 5 stars for this season. Now let's go ahead and change these out. And the relics I've been using is this one. At the start of battle, every 1 speed additionally increases the chance of casting ultimate skill twice. Not only that, but then I use this one. Allies launch an additional strike when dealing crit damage, and then I go ahead and I pop in 50% speed to combine with the wings, and I pop in 50% crit rate to combine with the initial, or the Ethereal's artifact up there, and then finally increases speed as well. So this is the setup that I have been going for, typically in these runs. However, it does depend on what your team composition is, depending on what artifacts you should use as well. So as I was saying before I got sidetracked, Wukong as a unit, I just don't know if he fits in to the Ethereal's team. And the reason for that is because it's on death of a unit that he powers up. So he will gain his additional attacks based on enemy units dying. Now, that can be attributed to, say for example, going up against an Avengers team or a Phantoms team. He becomes exceptionally powerful, but if your units are already killing those units, the extra basic attacks really won't matter altogether too much. Now, it might be slightly different. Maybe potentially you need him at a higher star level, as I've only got him at 1 star. So it can be very... He's just a very clunky unit, and he relies on a mechanic which doesn't really have any support. Through the Fox, yeah, I can't remember her name, but the new Fox unit, it's difficult to quantify, because I don't have her available at the moment. So whether or not you need to pair those two together is something that I'll need to do further testing on when she is released in a couple of days here. But my main concern with Wukong is that he's just not going to have the support that he needs in order to be truly exceptional, and he suffers the same problem as Themis has. Now, I know Chrono Mirage has posted quite a few videos on Themis, but he has, he's posted those videos and he's shown how effective she can be. But he's also noted on the side that she needs to do something other than on kill, because on kill, if you are already killing enemies, it's effectively redundant. Because you're already killing them. So for me, I think it's just, I think it really does need to there's just something about it that's got to change. He's just super clunky. He just doesn't I don't know. He's missing something. I think a good partner on the Ethereal's team, perhaps. Like, what other unit in the game has this switching mechanic, and what other unit benefits from changing positions? Now, they changed the switch mechanic in the most recent patch update. So if you have a look, Wukong will never switch with any of the units on the front row, like Elmer and Atrox here. He will never switch with them now, and the reason for that is because they wanted to change the way that the switch mechanic worked. So previously, you would switch with just about anybody on the team, and you could go into any single position, which left you very vulnerable in certain circumstances, and it stopped your tactics from working. So, for example, if you have Elmer on the front row and using shield, as I'm doing at the moment, none of your back row units can die. But if Elmer switches with the back row, then you're done for, effectively, because the backline units that are supposed to remain safe then get put out into the front row. And it can potentially mess things up. It also messed up how Mulan was supposed to function. So Mulan will give everybody in the same row the burn mechanic. Now, if she is switching to the front row, you get less units having that burn mechanic, and it just wasn't something. It wasn't a viable strategy, because you couldn't have any strategy with that setup, with everybody switching around all the time, because your units would just get your order would just get messed up. Fortunately, they have changed that now. They have changed it to instead only same row units will switch. So if, say for example, I had if I had Mulan on the front row, Elmer would switch with Mulan. Well, they wouldn't switch because she doesn't have that ability, but you get what I mean. The two front row units would switch, and now the back three units will switch around, as you can see with what Wukong is doing at the moment. But again, he's switching around, and is it super effective? I don't know. I really don't know. I just can't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you post below in the comments, what we'll do is we're gonna auto battle from now on, just because it's gonna be much easier, because we know the outcome. But yeah, I just think there's something missing with him. Lee, on the other hand, I think he is set up to win. The synergies that he's got with Glorian Monarchs, that's going to be really powerful, especially with him being a Verdian as well. So Verdian synergy, really powerful within the Ethereals. You have Nawi for one, Lily and Leah, perfect pairing partner with Lee, with the Panda. And he's going to be really effective in that lineup, especially if you will have a fourth Monarch in that team, so potentially somebody like Macaria, Victoria, to get the Celestials trigger with your Talanas, to have Nawi in there, or potentially you can have the 3 monarchs, but also have 2 strikers like a Seraphina or a Gloria. I think Gloria is going to pair very well. Lee typically will want to go in this front row, and the reason that he'll want to go in the front row is because that's where the majority of the attacks will go. So you really want Lee to be taking as many attacks as possible, and you want him to be as tanky as possible as well. So the whole purpose behind Lee, and I'll do a full breakdown video in when I do get him up to that 8-star mark, but really you want Lee on the front row taking as many hits as possible, so that he can build up his attack. And when I was mentioning runes before, his runes also build up defense and HP, the higher level you have them at, based on how many attacks he's received, I believe. But again, I'll do a full breakdown. So you want him to be on the front row, taking those attacks, building up his attack, and doing massive damage and counter attacking as well. Now, it is only a basic counter attack. I suspect if he'd been a divine unit or a demon unit, then he would have performed an ultimate when counter attacking, potentially his secondary. That would have been busted if he did that every time he attacked. Now, it is only a 50% chance as well, so it is something that you've got to keep in mind. It's only a 50% chance to counter attack. So I think that's a bit unfair, given that it's only a basic that you counter and attack him with. I think it should have been. Either an ultimate that you counter attacks for 50% chance, or I think it should have been. Oh, sweet. I think it should have been 100% chance to do a basic attack. I think that would be fair. But that was the first level of Abyss. That's chapters 1 through to 115. And then in a couple of days, we'll unlock Eternal level 58, and we'll be able to proceed through and start claiming the rest of them, where we'll get up to 168, and we'll be able to finish 415. So let me know what you think about the story. Let me know what you think about the new characters, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you have a great day.